18 months, we are on an election mode. It is actually a serious betrayal to the people of Kenya that what, for example, we witnessed in Ukambani last week is where buses, including lorries, school buses, have to keep shifting people from one meeting to the next to go and create an artificial crowd that the president is addressing. Now you would be able to wonder whether this kind of circuses taking place just a week to a State of the Union address, what State of the Union is possible from, and this ordinarily is made by the head of state. There's a difference between the state and government. He's head of government, meaning Kenya Kwanza government. He's also, but now it is no longer Kenya Kwanza government. It is a collection of his allies that are called BBG. Then, but as head of state, he represents all of us. But going forward, and as you have noted, when you say that the politics of the day seems to be the preoccupying force, the issue that he has to go everywhere in the streets of Kenya to go and say what people to chant two-term is indicative of what is going to happen. And there are two things that are already indicating that it will not be, three things actually, it will not be a genuine state of the nation. Because on one hand, when recently, over the last 2-3 months, they have been creating this, and he gave himself a score that all those things he promised, he has delivered 80%. Of course, Kenyans know that on what counts, on a scale of 10, you can hardly give the President Ruto 2 out of 10 for what has actually been achieved, especially marked by the issue of jobs, the issue of human rights violations, and of course the despondency, the fact that businesses are closing and people have no money. That is a true State of the Union address. That State of the Union address over the last 3 months, they have been denying it. You are suffering. In fact, sometimes you think whether you are mad. But somebody is saying Kenya has never been better than now. So it starts with honesty. Can you honestly tell people this is the state in which Kenyans are? It's a state of despondency.
Do you expect that it will just be another opportunity for the president to say, okay, we've done this?
80%, yes, that is what he will say. The next important thing is an interview that was covered somewhere by Al Jazeera. Kenyans were killed the other day. There are massive human rights violations. He said nobody has been abducted since he was elected. Nobody has been extrajudicially executed. Okay? Nobody, and when he was asked, you gave a shoot to kill order, he said, I have no apologies for that. The Kenyan constitution says Kenya is supposed to be a human rights state, a state that protects human rights and promotes them. Now, how will the head of state be able to give a genuine picture when he even said, I have no apologies for telling the police, ordering the police effectively to act unconstitutionally? The third thing is this infrastructure fund. The fact of the matter is, if there is a State of the Nation address, the biggest problems in Kenya today is oppressive taxation. This oppressive taxation, you cannot make it worse by saying, even in advance, you pass the law. And we know, because it's a parliament of sheep, that the law will be passed, okay? It will be against the opposition of the Kenyan people. There need actually to be a lot of public participation, so that takes into account, are Kenyans in support after we have paid all these taxes to do this? This will be forced on the Kenyan people, rammed on their throats through parliament. That cannot be a happy start to the State of the Union. And finally, is what is the State of the Union on the institutions? Judiciary. I pick it for one simple reason, that I'm a lawyer. But the more and more the president acts unconstitutionally, the judiciary has, broadly speaking, done well on other aspects. But with regard to budgeting process in Kenya, with regard to the issue of taxation, the judiciary has done badly, because you do not want to be in a situations where double taxation, which is one of the biggest crimes that historically can be committed by government, President Ruto and Kenya Kwanza government, they keep doing it over and over again without effectively the Kenyan judiciary stopping it. I am sure that Kenyans and many legal groups that I'm aware are opposed to this will not let this to pass, to try to do double taxation without consulting Kenyans and think that a parliament of sheep is going to commit them into another round of 30-year servitude, and people keep quiet about it. But the challenge now will be for the courts. People will not expect the courts when a president is acting clearly and constitutionally, and you start giving all kinds of excuses that parliament allowed it to happen. People will have now to say, what is the right of a parliament of sheep to be committing Kenyans to this kind of trickery over and over again?
Okay. Yeah, State of the Nation address expected later this week. The President William Ruto will be addressing a joint session of both houses for the annual State of the Nation address. And he says that his top agenda is to convince MPs to